Tesla had another shocking week, down 6.73%. It's down 18% in the last month, and TSLY is also down 6.3% and down 18% in the last month. So again, it's no surprise that my TSLY fund is also down, but it's only down in the last 5 days, 4.4%. And again, this is why I like to do things myself. You've got more control of your strikes as opposed to passing that across to a fund manager who's also going to take around 1% off the top. So in this video, we'll look at how much money we made, what's our projected yield, how we're doing, moves we've made. We'll also look at the charts. Again, you've seen this massive dip down. We are now tipped into oversold territory on the 1 hour chart. So we'll go into where my strikes are for next week, all these good things. And all I ask for is that you smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe. So if we remind ourselves what we did last week, so we had a covered call on at the 182. We had a covered call on at the 180. And you can see here we made 282 net. We did end up buying this back. It was worth $1, paid 66 cents in commission. So again, we netted out the week at $280 a premium, which was 1.2% of the current balance, which was last week. So what we did, as Tesla continued to go down, we then decided to sell the 170 at $320 or $319 net for this week. So what that's enabled us to do is now take over $5,000 in dividends. And again, our projected yield dropped slightly. I think it was at 76%, dropped down to 72%. Still projected to make over $20,000 this year. And again, if we look at this based on with dividends reinvested, which is what I'm not doing, we're at minus 26%. And if we have a look at where we are with dividends without dividends reinvested, with 35%. So if we actually look at a year-to-date view of Tesla, which is down 34%. And I know I started in late December, so it's not really a year-to-date view. But you can see here that we're roughly tracking the index or the underlying stock around minus 35%. So we're on track here in terms of what Tesla's doing. But again, if we factor in our dividends, we are still outperforming the underlying inside a down market. So if we have a look now at what happened with the synthetic. So we had the 175 synthetic, as you can see here. And with Tesla now trading at 163.67, and for us to do the 170 call, we had to buy back the synthetic, which is what we did here. So we took a loss of a total of 1,333, and we repositioned at the 162.50, which then gave us a nice little cushion if we get to the 170 mark. So again, not the best week again. Like you see here, the last 2 weeks we've taken a $2,800 loss, and here we're taking a $1,300 loss. But again, if we just have a look at the chart, this is what's been happening. There's not much else we can really do about it. If Tesla's dropping, we're just trying to harness that volatility and trying to pick up as much yield as we possibly can. So again, this is what we're trying to do. So if we have a look at where we are in terms of our starting balance of 30,000, again, these are the percentages, but the absolute ones, we're now at 22,309 with no dividends reinvested. So that's the current situation in terms of where we are. We are down again on the portfolio, as you know, but we have collected over $5,000 in dividends, which has kind of sweetened the deal. Now, we have a look at where we were on the chart, and again, this is me not really focusing and watching on it every single day. If you look at it, when we opened on the Monday, we actually hit the pivot point. And again, this is why I like to use pivot points, and dropped all the way back down. So really, if I was concentrating on the market on Monday, I probably could have closed out on this position for a nice bit of profit here, because my cover call was already breached. And again, we even on the Monday, we were still inside a pretty decent enough position to be able to, be ahead of the current price. But then we got this down move again. Some news with Elon, China, Tesla, usual stuff here, has kind of seen us break all the way down to the lows of, lows of 162.55. So if we have a look where we are this week, we are now at a pivot level sitting at 168.94. I did my strike just above the pivot because I couldn't really get the right strike for the amount of premium that I wanted. So we do have a nice bit of upside to go with. As we mentioned, we are oversold on the hourly chart territory. So again, we have seen a bit of movement up on the Friday, and hopefully we can see some gradual improvements going up to this weekly pivot. So there hasn't really been a week where I've left, just roll this on to the next week. So we've always either had an aggressive move up or aggressive move down pretty much every single week. So hopefully we can get a nice little slow grind up to here and hopefully resting around this pivot point level, which will be absolutely fantastic. So we can let this thing decay down and then go with a nice at the money covered call for the week after. So that's what I'm hoping for, but we'll take it one step at a time and see how we get on. But again, as I mentioned before, I'll zoom back out over here. Tesla, this is the arrow where I started. We had a nice little move up, and it really has struggled all the way since then. There you have your earnings. We had to play up, fill the gap in earnings, and now dropping back down again and making new yearly lows. So again, we'll just keep going, keep harvesting the yield. And again, I could be a bit more proactive with this and roll down my call and strikes and stuff. So I am watching when it moves so aggressively. It's very hard to roll down past your synthetic strike for any decent amount of premium. We're talking about like $5-6, and when you net commissions into there, it's not really worth it. So that's why I'll just wait until the end of the week to go make the roll. So that's kind of where we are. We're 13 weeks in. We are making some decent premium. So the average premium we're making a week is $412. As you can see here, been some lower weeks here, mainly down to the Tesla dropping. But again, we're still trying to make over 1% a week on there to hit the 52% yield, but currently at 72%. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and I should see you guys in the next one.